Sorry guys, we're trying to switch to the view of the presentation mode. All right, here we go. All right, so I'm Marty Van Dam. As Brian said, this is Amanda Mast, and we both are involved with ACBIS, the Academy of Certified Brain Injury Specialists, which is a part of the Brain Injury Association of America. We also wanted to recognize Dr. Sheldon Herring, who serves as the current chair of the Board of Directors for the Academy of Certified Brain Injury Specialists, and is integral in developing this model that we're going to be presenting to you guys today. All right, so first we wanted to just talk a little bit about this quote, getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. Amanda and I have been working in the field of neuro rehab for many years, and while there's been much learning imparted upon us along the way, the most profound and simple advice that we received from our hiring manager is to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And this is a really important idea as clinicians, because thinking about kind of dipping your feet in as somebody new in the field, all the way to feeling very confident in what you're doing, jumping all the way in and feeling like you know all your stuff. The reality of neuro rehab is that most of us require resources, support, collaboration, and kind of thinking about everything in neuro rehab from a team perspective, and utilizing our resources to provide the best care for our patients. And the theme, getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, is very relevant to working on problem solving, working on patients' awareness, and also working on yourselves as a rehab professional. Okay, so I'm going to cover up our video because it's awfully distracting to us, and we'll pop back on when we get to the end with questions. So Amanda and I both are very fortunate to be able to work right downtown in beautiful Greenville, South Carolina. We're able to open our doors and take our patients out in the community as a part of our therapy, which we realize is a very unique setting. We work alongside a fantastic team of speech pathologists, occupational therapists, physical therapists, neuropsychologists, and case managers. We are interdisciplinary, as I said. We are very fortunate to have something called the West End Co-op, which is a work-type setting for therapy. Also has volunteers that participate. It operates as a not-for-profit small business and offers space and materials for hands-on functional and vocational tasks under therapist supervision. Some examples of tasks that patients can participate in: woodworking, jewelry making, screen printing, mechanical repair projects. We're really lucky to have an on-site vocational rehab counselor, which is from our South Carolina State Agency, also on site, in which we can help collaborate, refer patients to vocational rehab, and also utilize a lot of their resources alongside of therapy. The reason that it's important that we share this with you is because we wanted to just define the lens through which we work in outpatient neurorehabilitation and how we approach problem solving using this new FACE-IT-ACE-IT model from an interdisciplinary standpoint. So this diagram right here really, it seems pretty simple, but it's very powerful. If you think about these three different areas, the physical abilities, cognitive abilities, behavioral emotional abilities, all of these can be impacted by a brain injury or stroke. So rehabilitation must target how these changes affect an individual's ability to function in a variety of settings and among all areas of their life. Problem solving is necessary across these areas, whether a person is working to find adaptations to physical changes or differences, completing exercises or a home exercise program, gauging their fatigue, balance, or ability to complete a physical task, interacting socially, and the more obvious ways that problem solving is affected by cognitive changes, which we'll dive into a little more deeply in this next 30 minutes or so. How physical ability may decrease, like one example is that, you might, if a patient is completing cognitively demanding tasks, that's going to impact their physical abilities, while on an assessment they might seem clear from a lot of physical impairment. We also need to take into consideration how their feelings, how their behavioral and emotional abilities impact their ability to be safe, and how their cognitive communication abilities impact their physical performance. For example, these can range from like just basic walking and being able to talk and carry on a conversation, all the way to carrying or moving something heavy and visually planning where to stack that item, or doing something physical in an environment as there's a lot going by in that environment. As we think about this model and how these different areas interact, we also need to think about our feelings and our thinking. So we all have feelings about problems. You can think about your feelings and you can feel a certain way based on what you think. But you can't truly consider each of these, both thinking and feeling, separately. They interact and affect each other, which leads us to this updated model of problem solving.
Okay, so the FACEIT to ACEIT problem solving model. Our program has developed and uses the FACEIT to ACEIT model, which is based on work pioneered by the Rusk Institute of Rehab Medicine at New York University, and also based off the work of Nezud, Zerlia, and colleagues and other resources. We have many listed resources in the back. Our FACEIT ACEIT problem solving model is a modified approach, which makes it accessible and adaptable to patients at a broad range of ability levels. Also, we're an interdisciplinary program, as Marty had mentioned, and address problem solving across speech, OT, PT, and psychology, but the majority of our sessions occur individually rather than in groups. We need to note that today we're setting out this afternoon to provide a brief overview of the model. It is extensive and there are many support materials to augment the application. We'll provide information at the end, how to be alerted when the manual and materials are published, hopefully around this coming spring or summer. So pictured here, the FACEIT ACEIT model places a dual emphasis on the emotional self-regulation, that's the FACEIT side, and the clear thinking, the ACEIT side. The FACEIT cue is used as a reminder that to become a better problem solver, we each need space to face our emotions and problem-solving styles. And the ACEIT component involves the cognitive capacity of individuals, including recognizing that there's a problem, coming up with potential solutions, and effectiveness and efficiency in problem solving. Neuropsychology is an integral part of the treatment team and is highly involved in the implementation of the emotional self-regulation side of the model and in the support of the other team members. We would say that almost everyone, whether you're following a brain injury, a stroke, or really any of us, has some part of the FACEIT ACEIT model that they could work to improve. So whether you're examining your emotional reactions or your ability to think clearly in problem solving, understanding ourselves can help make us all better problem solvers. As we referenced earlier, treating individuals recovering from brain injury requires some degree of getting comfortable with the uncomfortable, whether that be about myself, my style, or how it shows up in my response to situations, certain types of challenging clinical cases, or personalities of those I'm working with, or whether it's topics that come up in treatment itself. The model steps away from the traditional right or wrong answer, and it leaves space for multiple ways of responding and more than one potential solution. It empowers the patient to rationally approach and solve problems in a way that's best for them. Okay. So everyone has a problem-solving orientation and a problem-solving style. The orientation is defined as either a positive or negative with descriptions that are listed here. Orientation is important because how a person views their ability to solve problems can have a big impact on the amount of effort that they put into problem solving. So problem-solving style is defined as the manner in which a person reacts to stressful problems, and there's three main styles. Rational is a person who's planned and deliberate, careful, reasoned, weighs the pros and cons as they go along. Impulsive is a person who approaches problems tending to go with the first option that comes to mind, which may leave them overlooking possible options or outcomes. Avoidance is a style that relies on others to figure things out, tending to put off problems or deny that a problem exists. Important to note that style may vary by the type of problem. So for example, a person who responds rationally with straightforward problems like a flat tire, a sick child, or out of a needed material, but may become more avoidant when it comes to an interpersonal or confrontation with friends, family, coworkers, or neighbors. As mentioned, all people have a problem-solving orientation and style, and it can help to consider how a person's problem-solving orientation or style may have changed from before their injury or accident, or as it shows up along the road of recovery. There's a problem-solving survey, which we have our psychologists give, would be included in the manual, which can help determine and define orientation and style.